Morning guys, so we've just had pancakes. That was a payment actually. We're on our way out to do a mass harvest. We're going to harvest all of our beans, some of our beetroot, everything really, all the stuff we've got out there that needs to be harvested. Not everything, quite a lot of it is still to grow on and be harvested and eaten fresh over the coming months, and some of it's not ready yet to be harvested. But everything that needs harvesting right now, we're going to, or everything that we're ready to sort of process and preserve, we're going to harvest, bring in, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So as we're going to do it as a family, all my kids are going to come and help, and as payment for that I had to get up and make them pancakes. Now as always, I've got my kids with me. My daughter doesn't like to be on YouTube, so I'm not going to be doing much filming while we're harvesting. But we're going to go and harvest everything up now. My wife is also having a tidy up. She's collecting up all of our old chicken runs that are no longer worth salvaging, all the ones with rotten wood, and starting a little bonfire in preparation for our sort of clear up to leave the property in the spring. Right, we're going to get harvesting and I'll speak to you guys in a minute. So we finished harvesting, and I have to say my kids were amazing, and I'm so grateful. We've harvested loads and loads of beans. We've harvested French beans, borlotti beans, runner beans. We've harvested our courgette plants. We've sort of taken them all back to, you know, just fresh growth now. Harvested loads and loads of basil, which we can dry and use all through the winter and spring. What else have we harvested, Torrin? Harvested our onions and got those in, which is really late for onions. Don't follow my lead on that. We've also harvested some beetroot and some jalapenos. Now, so I've left my Scotch bonnets on the plant because they're not quite there yet. I've never grown them before, and apparently you're supposed to harvest them when they just start turning yellow. Mine aren't quite there yet. So hopefully the weather will stay mild enough that they'll get to do that. Otherwise, I'll just have to harvest them earlier. I can't see it's going to make a huge amount of difference with something like a Scotch bonnet chili, but having never grown them before, I don't know. Yeah, so that's what we've been doing. Now, my wife's been setting up a new pen for our hens. We're about to move the hens in the trailer. Winter is coming and we need to start moving them more regularly now on the ground. So we're going to be moving the hens, and then I'm going to be going in and start processing all of that food. That's our girls on some fresh ground. They're all very happy picking through the leaf litter over there. And we've actually lost a fair few hens over the last year or so. Some of them are getting on, they're quite old. Quite a lot of them are ex-battery hens, so they've served their time. They've got a lot more space, so much so we might actually combine the two flocks at some point this winter. We'll see how we get on. But that's the chickens move for today. Took a little bit longer than we possibly thought it would, but then it always seems to, doesn't it? But we've got our harvesting done, so I've got quite a lot of processing now to do in the kitchen. I'm going to go and pick one of those beautiful cabbages as well, because we're going to have a roast dinner this evening. So got a pretty full-on day now. Right, so I'm finally back in the house. We've got the first lot of our basil in the dehydrator drying. Now of course you could hang it to dry, but at this time of year it would just take a little bit longer, obviously. We may well hang some of our other herbs that we want to dry, some rosemary for example. Speaking of which, we brought some rosemary in because we're having roast lamb this evening. If you'll remember, a while back my brother-in-law had a lamb that he needed slaughtered, and I went and slaughtered it and butchered it, and we split the meat. So that's what we're having for tea tonight, a leg of lamb. So what have we brought in? So we've got some beetroot here. Now what I've done is we've left all the stuff in the ground that we're going to sort of eat as we go. So we're still going to be eating fresh vegetables for quite some time after this video. but we've got excess of some stuff because I grow for gluts, and we've grown specifically so that we can preserve and eat when things aren't in season. So we've got these beetroot, which won't be the first or the last lot that we preserve this year probably, but what we'll do, we'll peel and slice these or dice them into big chunks, part boil them, then they'll go in the freezer. We've got a load of courgettes here, which again, we'll just clean off, slice up and freeze, super simple. Then over here, we've got loads and loads of these borlotti beans, and quite a lot of them had actually dried on the plant, but when they dry on the plant, if you leave them too long, they sort of split open and the beans fall out and fall to the ground. But this is what we'll be harvesting from these amazing borlotto beans or borlotti beans. I'm not sure if there's a difference. It said borlotti beans on the packet. I always have known them as borlotto beans. You tell me, guys. We've got a load more basil in there to dry. We've got some French beans, which we're going to do the same thing with. And we've got a load of green beans. Now, the green beans, we're going to basically blanch and freeze. And then the last thing that I harvested was some of my jalapenos. Most of my jalapenos. There's still quite a few on the plant, but we've brought in quite a big bag full. And these guys, we will be brining. And I'm probably going to do that tomorrow. There's no real rush. Once I've got them in, those jalapenos will sit quite happily for 2 or 3 days at room temperature without degrading at all. So in the next 2 or 3 days, I will make a brine these, and I'll film that and share all that with you for sure. But for now, it's a case of dehydrating, shelling, etc, etc. I've also got a roast dinner that I need to get on. It's lunchtime, so that's pretty much going to fill the rest of my day. And we're having leg of lamb with garlic, rosemary and marmalade. And if you've not had that before, you must try it. But I think that's going to wrap up this video, and I will speak to you guys really soon. Cheers.